And we'll start off laying on our backs. Trying to get all my technology going. Here we go. Okay. Starting off laying on your back. Start with your knees bent to allow the sacrum, that triangular bone at the base of the spine, to settle, soften back, spread wide. And then if it's comfortable to extend the heels away from the crown of the head, you can do that. If that causes any discomfort in the lower back, just keep the knees bent, feet as wide as the mat. Let the knees fall together. Become aware of your breath. And notice the quality of the breath before the practice. Notice if the chest feels tight or open. If the breath is short or long. If the inhales or the exhales bear more weight. And then bringing the awareness to the diaphragm, consciously deepen your breath. As you inhale, feel the diaphragm expand downward. And as you exhale, feel it soften back and spread wide across the floor. Take the awareness past the diaphragm, down into the bottoms of the feet and the tips of the toes. And as you exhale, completely sink into the support of the ground beneath you. Feel that stacking of the bones and joints in the back body plane. And connect to that universal blueprint for optimal alignment, support of the skeletal system. And then we'll do a quick scan through the physical body, from the bottoms of the feet and the tips of the toes. Inhale and pull the awareness up through the legs, into the pelvis, the hips, the low back. Notice any areas of tension, soreness, general discomfort. And as you inhale deeply, breathe into those places. Allow the breath to gently open and expand them. And as you exhale completely, tension leaves the body with the breath. The next inhale pulls the awareness up the torso, into the shoulders, the neck, and the face. Once again, just observing where in the upper body you're holding tension today. And using the breath to bring the awareness into those places. As you inhale, make space, invite fresh blood and oxygen in. And as you exhale, completely continue the conversation of consciously asking the body to soften, release, and let go. Lastly, bring the awareness to the mind. Notice where the thoughts are at. Observe the speed at which they move through you. Allow yourself to take a big step back from identifying as the thoughts and witness their passing. without getting attached and carried away, without judging yourself for what you're thinking about, but just beginning to notice the habits and patterns in the way the mind turns. And then bring the awareness back and anchor it fully on the breath. Have a couple more deep, long breaths down into the bottoms of the feet and the tips of the toes. And exhale. Soften back and spread wide across the floor. And then we're going to cross the arms over the chest and reach behind us for the shoulder blades. I just did this accidentally and it felt really good. So have a few breaths here. Breathing into the back of the chest. Softening the shoulders down the back. Moving in any way that feels good to you to deepen your stretch. And then switch out the crossing of the arms for a few more deep, long breaths. Good. And then grab your strap. If you don't have a strap, feel free to get up and grab a belt, a dog leash, a scarf. You can also do the stretches, taking yogi toe lock around the right big toe or interlacing the hands behind the thigh. But the strap allows us to create space and also have more awareness and refinement of what we're doing in our foot. So the right heel extends up towards the ceiling, the left heel extends out along the mat. Press through both heels to lengthen the back of the legs, and then press through the balls of the feet to hug the calves into the bones. The left thigh bone presses firmly into the floor, and the right thigh bone presses away from the crown of the head. So it's a little bit counterintuitive, but that action of the thigh bone creates length and space in the lower back and balance and evenness in the grounding of the pelvis on both sides. And then we're stretching the leg more deeply towards ourselves in a way that is safe because the pelvis is aligned. It's not going to crunch up that right side of your lower back. Have 3 more deep, long breaths. Keep pressing the whole left side body down as you exhale and open the right leg out to the right side. We don't want to let the leg just flop to the floor. We want to maintain this balance and evenness in the grounding of the pelvis. That left foot is flexed and active, pointing straight up. The right thigh bone stays grounded. Press the right thigh bone away from the crown of the head. Lengthen the spine on both sides. And as you press out through that right heel, find the leverage to draw the abdomen back and turn it to the left. Have 3 more deep, long breaths. Just observing the tendencies in your body. You want to make sure that the outer edge of that right foot is coming down, parallel to the floor. And that the left foot isn't falling out, but that we're staying on the midline of the left leg. And with an inhale, bring that right leg back up to center. Take the strap or whatever variation that you are supporting your leg in the left hand and reconnect to the activation and the alignment in both legs. Press through the heels and the balls of the feet. Root both thigh bones down in their respective directions. And take that right leg gently across to the left side body. Continuing to keep the left toes pointing straight up. The left inner thigh pressing firmly towards the floor. We're lifting that right heel up towards the height or even past the height of the hip eventually. But that outer right hip is circumferentially rooting down towards the left heel. The abdomen softens back into the right here. 3 more deep, long breaths. And with an inhale, return the leg to center. Release the foot from the strap and lower the leg to the mat. Shimmy out the hips a little bit. Observe the different sensations and the different sides of your body in this moment. And then we move to cultivate a balance. Take the strap around the upper arch and the lower ball of the left foot. Extend the left heel towards the ceiling and the right heel out along the mat. Pressing that right thigh bone and the whole midline of the right leg firmly towards the floor. It's not theoretical. Eventually, the back of the knee hugs the floor. The toes are flexed and active, pointing straight up. The left thigh bone presses firmly away from the crown of the head to lengthen that side of the lower back, to ground both sides of the pelvis evenly. And we keep pressing the thigh bone away from the crown to maintain that balance and evenness as we draw the leg more actively towards ourselves. Have a few more deep, long breaths. Breathing into the places that feel tight and sore and stuck. And as you exhale completely, allowing the body to soften more deeply. You pretty much cannot ground your thigh bone, your left thigh bone down enough. The tendency is always for that hip to creep up towards the shoulder. And we don't want to allow that because that will strain the lower back over time. Take the strap into the left hand. Press the whole right side body down as you open the left leg out to the left side. Right toes stay flexed and active, pointing straight up. Both thigh bones rounding down in their respective directions. As you press out through the left heel, find the leverage to soften the abdomen back into the right. So we're looking to create balance and evenness in the whole back body plane, through the ribs and kidneys, as well as through the pelvis and lower back. Have 3 more deep, long breaths. Checking in with the tendency of your foot, which tells you about the rotation in your hip. Left foot coming down parallel to the earth, and the outer right foot perpendicular to the floor here. With an inhale, return to center. Take the strap into the right hand. Reconnect and commit to the alignment in the legs. Press through both heels, the balls of both feet. Root both thigh bones down firmly in their respective directions. Take that left leg gently across to the right side body. Toes flexed and active, pointing up. Lifting that left heel towards the height of the hip. Simultaneously rooting that outer left hip down towards the right heel. Allow the stretch to be subtle and use the breath to soften more deeply. Soften the abdomen back and to the left. Looking to cultivate as much balance and evenness as we can, despite the asymmetry of the shapes. Have 3 more deep, long breaths. And release the foot from the strap. Lower the leg to the mat. Shimmy out the hips. Then draw your knees into your chest. Rock from side to side, massage the low back. And when you are ready, roll onto the right side body. Press down to lift up. Oops. And come to a comfortable seated position. Keep your eyes closed for just another moment and check back in. Build your shape from the ground up, looking for that same alignment, the stacking of the bones and joints in the back body plane. Inner rotate your thigh bones to move the flesh of the buttocks out. This action of inner rotating the thigh bones is going to come up again and again. It creates width in the pelvis, and in this case, it can help the pelvis find lift. If that's not enough and you're still hunched back in the hips, sit up on the block, a blanket, anything you have laying around the house. That's going to give you the leverage to get that pelvis to a neutral position. Because we cannot lift and lengthen through the crown, align the shoulders, if the hips and legs aren't in alignment. Pressing down through both sits bones. Inhale, lift and lengthen through the crown of the head and the tips of the ears. Exhale, soften the shoulders together, down and into your back body. Chin parallel to the earth. Slide the jawbone back and lift the tips of the ears. Find that stacking of the bones and joints that brings a lightness and a spaciousness into the body. And today we're focusing on the action energy alignment in the foundation, which can shift from shape to shape. Right now it's the sits bones, but the actions and energy at the foundation remain the same. We press down into the earth, and that support and reciprocity that is provided gives us the leverage to lift up. You know, whether we're standing on our heads or standing on our legs. But we are going to focus the awareness on the feet and legs today because they are our foundation in so many of the poses. And when we walk through and carry ourselves around the world. Whenever we move through the entire chakra system and return to the foundation, we are asked to reevaluate and reassess what beliefs and values we place at the foundation of our practice, recognizing that our yoga practice is just a mirror for the rest of our lives. So how we connect at the foundation, what values we place there, are going to really determine like what is even possible for us to create, because it's what we are building on. This week, I have been seeking refuge in the routines that I have created for myself. And it's taken me a long time to create these routines for myself because I am super fiery, very rebellious, and like, I just am completely like, in terms of my preferences, opposed to anyone putting any discipline, routine, structure on like how I spend my time. In the beginning, the only structure that came into my life was structure imposed from like school or work. And so I felt very like resistant to and resentful of that. But we have our inner children just with us all the time. And like babies, we thrive on and crave the comfort and stability that is created through having routines. It's also very empowering to take that structure of your life away from like work and like the capitalist system and realize that like you can create this structure to create more ease and space and freedom in the flow of your own life. So our yoga practice becomes a routine that we return to daily. It holds, it creates this steadiness and this stability in our lives as we deal with the craziness of what arises, abides, and dissolves in the world around us. It gives us a refuge and a place from which to observe ourselves. When we have a routine, we can see ourselves like improving and learning and growing and becoming more stable and then adding on to the routine. So in the classes that I teach, there is a routine from how we start to how we begin, from how we move the body from like the beginning to the end of class, as well as how we move through the chakra system in 7-week increments. And this structure and this routine allows us to store and hold a lot of information to hold complexity in our bodies and to know how to go into different places and access different parts of ourselves and how to look at them in relationship to each other without losing any of the complexity. So we will continue to connect to the earth today because that's such a fundamental relationship that needs to be healed right now. To connect to our bodies, which are governed by the first chakra and the energy of the legs. The legs also represent our connection to our pasts. And we want to align and integrate all of the experiences there to inform our present. And so that we don't have weird misalignments where we're just like losing our life force. With an inhale, you can reach your arms up and overhead. And exhale through the mouth with sound, release the arms down. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhale deeply. And exhale completely. Again, inhale, stretch past the skin and fingertips. And exhale, let it all go. And then we will Om. And as you inhale, using that breath that reaches down into the earth, and as you exhale, leaning into the back body so that the sound can come from the earth and from the base of you and move up and resonate through the whole body, beginning to shake up and clear out any areas where things have gotten stuck. Inhale deeply. Pausing to allow those vibrations to resonate through the body, observing any areas where the sound gets stuck or constricted. And then we'll take a moment to connect more deeply to the breath. We will practice lengthening the exhales. Because the breath is a control dial on the awareness, we can use it to enliven and invigorate through deepening the inhales, or to calm and soothe and settle us through lengthening the exhales. We can also cultivate a balance between these 2 things to keep us both calm and alert at all times. But in honoring the legs and the grounding down aspect of the breath and the practice, we will lengthen the exhale. So just inhale deeply through the nose, lift and lengthen through the crown of the head. Exhale completely through the nose, soften the shoulders down the back. And then inhale to my 4 count. Inhale 2, 3, 4. Exhale 2, 3, 4. Inhale 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. And exhale as slowly as you can. Pausing at the bottom of the breath to observe the effects of this pranayama on the energy in the body. And then you can return to the breath, the normal breath, remembering that we always have these tools of the breath to adjust the awareness. And then with an inhale, you can gently open your eyes, and we'll come on to hands and knees. Spread the fingers wide as they become part of your foundation here. Ground the knees right under the hips. Inhale, drop the abdomen, arch the back, gaze up. Exhale, press down and curl the spine to the ceiling. Continue at your own pace. Sync the motions of the body with the breath, and use the breath to deepen the motions of the body. Allow this synchronicity to bring you fully and completely into the present moment, and then move in any way that feels good to you within the confines of the shapes. Allowing the mind to connect with and receive the wisdom of our bodies. Have 3 more deep, long breaths. So remembering how powerful that is. We live in a world that tries to shape and also negate the body. So just remembering that we hold so much wisdom there. When you're ready, tuck your toes, lift your hips high, press back, downward facing dog. Feel free to pedal your feet, sway your hips, move in any way that feels good to you here for a moment. Getting our wiggles out so that we can find some stillness. Ground the hands and the feet evenly. Feet as wide as the hips. Outer edge of the feet parallel with outer edge of the mat. If the back is rounding here, bend the knees wide, right over the ankles, and find the leverage to inhale and lift the hips high. Lifting from the back of the knees to the sits bones as you press from the back of the knees through the heels. Press the thigh bones up and back to where the wall meets the ceiling. And allow the head to hang heavy. Have 3 more deep, long breaths. Lifting and spreading the toes. And feel how that action of pressing down through the big toe mound lifts the inner arch and the inner ankle. Drawing the energy all the way up the inner leg to the pelvic floor. With an inhale, float forward into plank pose and pause here. Hips are at the height of the shoulders, and then we root the tailbone down. Lift the abdomen and lift the back of the ribs to meet the shoulder blades. Exhale, extend through the heels, the crown of the head. With your next exhale, lower the knees, the chest and the chin. Press the tops of the feet down. And inhale, lift the heart, roll the shoulders back. Everything on the ground presses firmly down to give us the leverage to lift the heart and crown. Spread all your toenails on the floor, especially pressing the pinky toenail down, and feel it broaden and widen through the sacrum. Have 1 more big breath here. And exhale, seat to heels, child's pose. Allow the weight and the energy of the hips to settle towards the heels. So even if they're not touching, there's always a grounding of the energy from the pelvis through the heels that gives us a leverage to stretch the arms, to breathe length and space into each vertebrae in the spine. Have 3 more deep, long breaths. Each inhale, filling the body from the inside out like a balloon. And each exhale, softening more deeply into the stretch. With an inhale, rise, arch the back, gaze up. Exhale, lift the hips, press back. Downward facing dog. Moving from the foundation up, making sure that we are grounded evenly. When there's a misalignment at the foundation, it affects the entire body. Remembering that if your knees hyperextend or if your low back and is rounded and your hamstrings are tight, a slight bend in the knees can help us access. Lifting from the back of the knees up towards the sits bones, pressing from the back of the knees down through the heels. Lift and spread the fingers and toes. Feel the engagement in the shins and forearms. Lower the toes and fingers, but keep that level of engagement. Inhale, lift the hips. Lift the abdomen towards the spine. Exhale, thigh bones up and back. Make space in your lower back. Have 3 more deep, long breaths. And with an inhale, walk the feet forward to meet the hands. Coming into a standing forward bend. It's always an option to bend your knees. Do what your body is inviting you and telling you it needs to do. If you do bend your knees, you're still thinking about lifting from the back of the knees up and pressing from the heels down. Allow the abdomen to come towards the thighs. Let the head be heavy. Shake it yes and no. Grab opposite elbows and sway. Move in any way that feels good to release tension from the back, the shoulders, and the neck. Let it go, let it drain out through the crown of the head. With an inhale, return to center. And exhale, release the arms down. Bring the hands onto the hips. Draw the elbows together on the back. Root the tailbone down and inhale, lift abdomen, heart, and crown to come up to stand. Good. And taking a moment to connect to our alignment here. So we start off laying on the back to feel and find that stacking of the bones and joints. And then we come to Tadasana, mountain pose. And we look for that same stacking of the bones and joints. Turn the outer edge of the feet parallel with the outer edge of the mat. And that is going to rotate your thigh bone into your hip socket all the way up the leg. We can't really align the pelvis with the feet turned out. So if we have a dancing background or gymnastics, we're often like here and wonder why our back hurts. So the feet turn to face forward, lift and spread the toes. Feel how that lifts the arch. That's initiating the lift from the arch to the pelvic floor. Take your thigh, you can lower your toes down, but keep that lift. Take your thigh bones back, center of the buttocks over the knees and ankles, and then draw the center of the buttocks into the midline to root the tailbone down. It begins to lift the pelvic triangle in and up. We're getting super compact and stable and aligned at the center so that we can inhale and lift and lengthen through the crown of the head and the tips of the ears. And as you exhale, roll the shoulders together, down, and into your back body. Feel that connection to the earth, that stability, that we're not losing energy through all these misalignments, but that we are grounding down intentionally and able to lift up. Inhale, reach the arms up and overhead. Exhale, fold forward over the legs. Inhale, gaze forward, lengthen your spine, thigh bones back, crown forward. Exhale, step the right leg back, lower the right knee down. Inhale, rise, Anjaneyasana. Energetically hug the legs together to activate and engage the inner thighs. Lift the abdomen towards the spine. Tailbone roots down, and then we take the whole center of the buttocks forward, opening up through that back hip flexor. Have 3 deep, long breaths. And with an exhale, release. Ground the palms, step back, downward facing dog. You're welcome to stay here or to inhale and float forward into plank, lifting the thigh bones and pressing from the tailbone through the heels to engage the legs. As you lower, feel free to use the knees to support that one long line of energy through the body. Inhale, lift the heart, roll the shoulders back. Pinky toenails grab. Exhale, lift the hips. Downward facing dog. Return to your breath. With an inhale, lift your right leg high. Lift from the inner thigh and the center of the heel. Press the left thigh bone back to create that balance and evenness in the pelvis. One more big inhale. And exhale, step the right leg through between the hands. Lower your left knee down. And inhale, reach your arms up and overhead. Again, the legs hug towards each other energetically to bring the hips to face forward. Tailbone roots down. Frontal hip bones lift away from the front thigh bone. And we take the whole center of the buttocks forward. Lift the torso up out of the pelvic bowl. 3 breaths. And with an exhale, release. Tuck the back toes. Inhale, step the back foot forward. Lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold deeply. Inhale, reach the arms up and overhead. Come to stand. Exhale, release the arms down by your sides. Returning to Tadasana, mountain pose, and checking back in with your alignment. Noticing if you have a tendency to put one foot forward or turn it out, and just making adjustments to return the body to center. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold deeply. Inhale, gaze forward, lengthen your spine. Exhale, the left leg back this time, keeping the back knee lifted. Coming into that low lunge on the right side. Front knee stacks over the ankle, pulling from the front heel, pulling the heels towards each other energetically to engage the legs, keeping this compaction at the core and the center as you extend out through the heel, the crown of the head. With an inhale, lift the right arm up for a twist. Hips stay facing forward. Twist is happening at the core. Press through the palms to roll the shoulders together down and into the back body. Have one more big breath here. And exhale, release. Round the palms, step back. Downward facing dog. You are welcome to stay here or inhale and flow forward into your plank pose. Thigh bones lift. Tailbone roots down towards the heels. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift the heart. Roll the shoulders back. Exhale, lift the hips. Downward facing dog. Return to your breath. Inhale the left leg high. We lift from the inner thigh in the center of the heel to keep that balance and evenness in the pelvis. Press the right outer hip back. Lengthen both sides of the lower back. One more big inhale. And exhale, step the foot through between the hands. Keep the back knee lifted. Front knee stacks over the back, front knee stacks over the ankle. As you inhale, you're energetically hugging the heels towards each other like scissors, finding that engagement of the inner groin. Lift the abdomen, and exhale, extend from the tailbone through the heel, from the tailbone through the crown. With your next inhale, lift the left arm up. Hips stay facing forward, abdomen twists. Press out through the palms to roll the shoulders together down and into your back body for one more breath. Exhale, release. Inhale, step your back foot forward. Exhale, fold deeply. Inhale, reach the arms up and overhead. Come to stand. Exhale, release the arms. Down by your sides, Tadasana, mountain pose. Again, noticing how the feet are, outer edge of the feet parallel with outer edge of the mat. Notice if the weight is going into the toes. That means you've got to take your thigh bones back. Get grounded and active through the muscles on all sides of your legs. And inhale, reach the arms up and overhead. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, gaze forward, lengthen. Exhale, grab the palms, step or jump back. Move through a vinyasa or come to downward facing dog. Remember that there is no judgment in your choices, only listening to your body. Inhale, lift and spread the fingers and toes. Lift the abdomen towards the spine and lift the hips high. As you exhale, thigh bones up and back. Ground down through the toes and fingers without losing that lift through the arch. 3 breaths. With an inhale, gaze forward. Step or jump the feet to meet the hands. Get length through the spine and exhale, fold. Inhale, reach the arms up and overhead, come to stand. Exhale, release the arms down by your sides. Tadasana, mountain pose. One more time. Surya Namaskar A. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold forward over the leg. Inhale, get length through the spine. Exhale, ground the palms, step or jump back to plank and lower. Inhale, lift the heart. Roll the shoulders back. Exhale, lift the hips. Downward facing dog. Return to the breath. Taking that slight bend in the knees and lifting from the back of the knees up as you press from the back of the knees down. So the heels move towards grounding, but that's not the most important part. Most importantly, we are opening the lower back through the action of pressing the thigh bones back. And we don't want to compromise the spine to ground the heels. 3 more breaths. With an inhale, gaze forward. Step or jump the feet to meet the hands. Exhale, fold deeply into the legs. Inhale, reach the arms up and overhead. Come to stand. Exhale, release the arms. Down by your sides. Tadasana. Good. Losing my dollar store earring. With an inhale, arms reach up, drop the seat, chair pose. Stick your booty out to get low. Root your tailbone down to lift up. Have 3 breaths. Shift the weight to the right foot and exhale, step the left leg back. Warrior 1. Finding that deep bend in the front knee, step that knee right over the ankle. As you hug the legs together, it's going to inner rotate the back thigh bone to bring that left hip in line with the right. We want to create balance and evenness in the pelvis so that we can root the tailbone down and lift abdomen, heart, and crown. Have 3 breaths. And with an exhale, release. Ground the palms, step back. Feel free to come to down dog or child's pose, or to move through a vinyasa. Either way, keep the awareness with the breath. Cultivating that balance and evenness in your breath. That brings balance and evenness to your heart rate and the speed of the thoughts through your mind. We'll meet back in down dog if you're not already there. And with an inhale, gaze forward. Step or jump the feet to meet the hands. Exhale, fold deeply. Inhale, drop the seat, arms reach up, chair pose. Exhale, stand tall. Tadasana, mountain pose. Again, inhale, arms reach up, drop the seat. Stick your thigh bones and your booty out to get low. Root your tailbone down to lift the torso. 3 breaths. Shift the weight down and to the left foot, and shift the back. Step the right leg back. There we go. Coming into your warrior 1. Deep bend in the front knee, right over the front ankle. Finding that inner rotation. The back thigh bone moves back and it turns in to bring that right hip in line with the left as much as possible. Tailbone roots down. We lift the abdomen, the heart, and the crown. 3 breaths. And exhale, release. Round the palms, step back. Feel free to come to down dog, child's pose, or move through a vinyasa. Return the awareness to the breath. And feel the heat that is being generated in the body through the practice. Tapas. It means the fire that burns through what isn't serving us. And it also means discipline. So honestly, what is our passion if we cannot direct it? We'll meet back in downward facing dog. Have 1 more big breath. And with an inhale, gaze forward. Step or jump the feet to meet the hands. Exhale, fold deeply. Inhale, drop the seat, arms reach up. There we go. Exhale, stand tall. Tadasana, mountain pose. Good. So we're gonna take our, let me check on the time. Boom, what time is it? Okay, I'm going to stop the Instagram video and restart it because we only get an hour on Instagram. And then we will move on to our standing poses. Good. So hands on the hips, step the left leg back. It's a pretty long stance, but then we're hugging the legs towards each other energetically to bring the hips to face forward. The back thigh is finding that inner rotation. And then from the back of the knee, the heel turns and presses down. Lift and spread your toes. Stretch them out. Ground them down. Root the tailbone down. Lift the frontal hip bones. And with an exhale, begin to fold forward, hinging at the hips. Keeping your hands on your hips to keep your awareness on cultivating that balance and evenness. Both thigh bones press back to lengthen the lower back. We don't want to collapse into the knee joints here. Slight bend in the knees. Lift up from the back of the knees as you press down through the heels. You can bring your hands to the floor outside your foot if that feels better. If you have to bend the knees, that's fine. You can also interlace your hands behind your back. Wherever you're working, 3 more deep, long breaths. And then inhale, take a slight bend in the front knee. You're welcome, again, to hop the fingertips out in front of you, or you can play with taking standing split with the arms behind the back. We're shifting the weight onto the front foot, straightening that front leg, lifting the back leg from the inner thigh in the center of the heel. The hip, the knee, and the ankle of the standing leg, of both legs are stacking. Inhale, gaze forward, lengthen. Exhale, fold more deeply into that straight front leg. 3 deep, long breaths. With an inhale, lift the gaze, and we're going to rise to stand on the right leg. Draw the left knee into the chest. Turn that left leg out. Place the foot on the inner calf or the inner thigh, above or below the knee joint. Hands at the heart. From the pelvis, ground down through the foot, through the floor, to the earth. And from that grounding, inhale and reach your arms up and overhead. Tree pose. Woo, and wobbly. Have 3 more deep, long breaths. Inhale, return everything to center. And exhale, release it down. Woo! You can shake out your foot a little bit. And we'll come into that series on the other side. Hands on the hips. Step the right leg back. So the right thigh inner rotates. And then from the back of the knee, the heel turns in and presses down. We want our hips to face forward. Lift and spread your toes. Feel the muscles hug into the bones. Press out through the 4 corners of the feet. Root the tailbone down to lift the abdomen, the heart, and the crown. And with an exhale, fold forward, hinging at the hips. Keeping the hands on the hips to feel what is going on there. Both thigh bones press back to create length and space through the lower back. Frontal hip bones lift away from the thigh bones. Take whatever variation you took in the arms on the other side, remembering that we don't want to sink into the knee joint. From the back of the knee, lift up. From the back of the knee, press down. 3 more deep, long breaths. Inhale, lift the gaze with the chest. Exhale, slight bend in the front knee. You can keep your hands interlaced behind your back as you shift the weight onto the left foot, or you can ground your fingertips out in front of you under your shoulders. Either way, we're pressing out through both heels, lifting from the inner thigh in the center of the back heel, standing thigh bone back. Inhale, get length and space through the spine. Exhale, fold more deeply, hinging at the hips, standing split. And with an inhale, rise, right knee into the chest. Turn it out. Place the foot above or below the knee joint on the calf or thigh. Standing thigh bone back. Lifted thigh bone down. Hands to the heart. Everything hugs into the midline of the body. Root down to rise up. Looking for that same stacking of the bones and joints in the back body plane. 3 more deep, long breaths. And inhale, return to center. Exhale, release everything down. Take the feet wide. Outer edge of the feet parallel with outer edge of the mat to start. Both thigh bones back. Hips in line with the knees and ankles. Turn that left foot in slightly. Turn your right foot out all the way. Take a deep bend in that right knee. Stack it right over the ankle. Arms out to the sides. That back thigh bone, again, the thigh bone moves back and it inner rotates. So the bone is in the hip socket. Then both thigh bones press back to fully open the hips in the side body plane. As you inhale, you're energetically drawing the legs together. Lift the abdomen. As you exhale, extend in all directions. Gaze over the front fingertips. 3 breaths. Inhale, straighten that front leg. Lift and spread the toes. Stretch them out, ground them down. Back thigh bone back, in line with the knee and ankle. As you exhale, you're widening the back inner thigh back. As you cut the front thigh bone back, stretch the body long, and come down into your triangle pose. Lift and spread the toes. Press through the big toe mound to lift the arch in the inner leg. Slight bend in the knees, and from the back of the knees, lift up to the sits bones. From the back of the knees, press down through the heels. Thigh bone, front thigh bone back, and front bone into the midline of the body. 3 breaths. And inhale, rise up. Exhale, deep bend in the front knee. You can bring the elbow onto the knee, stacking elbow, knee, ankle, knee, elbow, shoulder, or fingertips to the floor behind you. That back thigh bone is back. Feel that movement create spaciousness in the lower back, and then root down from the tailbone through the back heel and the back edge of the back foot. That front buttock is still hugging into the midline of the body as you reach the arm over the ear, side angle stretch. 3 more deep, long breaths. Inhale, rise. Straighten both legs. Turn that right foot in slightly, left foot out all the way. Exhale and deep bend in the left knee, stacking it right over the ankle. We cannot let our knee fall inward here. It will strain the knee over time. The back thigh bone turns in slightly. Both thigh bones press back, fully opening the hips in the side body plane. Lift that frontal hip bone away from the thigh bone so we're not here. As you inhale, energetically pull into the center, and exhale, extend out. 3 breaths. Inhale, straighten the front leg. Make sure that that back thigh bone stays back. Lift and spread the toes, stretch them out, ground them down. As you exhale, the back inner thigh widens out and the front thigh bone cuts back. The whole pelvis shifts so the side bodies stay long as you come down into your triangle pose. Lift and spread the toes again. Press through the big toe mound. From the backs of the knees, lift up to the sits bones. From the backs of the knees, press down through the heels. That front thigh bone pressing back creates space in the lower back on the front side, and hug the buttocks into the midline of the body to stack the hips. 3 breaths. Inhale, rise. Exhale that deep bend again. Bringing the elbow to the knee. Stack the bones and joints from the ground up, or you can take the fingertips behind your foot, but that back thigh bone is back. And from the tailbone, we're pressing down through the back heel, the back edge of the back foot. That front buttock into the midline of the body to fully open the hips as you reach the right arm over your ear. 3 more deep, long breaths. Inhale, rise. Straighten the front leg. Turn both feet to face forward. Outer edge of the feet parallel with outer edge of the mat. Root down to lift the torso. And exhale, fold forward. The hands can come to the floor between the feet. Maybe the head can come to the floor. Even if the head doesn't come to the floor, we're pressing down into the hands to lift the shoulders. Lift and spread your toes, stretch them out, ground them down. Notice if your ankles tend to fall in or out. We want them centered over the feet. From the back of the knees, lift up. From the back of the knees, press down. Lift your abdomen towards your spine and have 3 more deep, long breaths. And then hands on the hips, ground down to inhale, lift up. Step or jump the feet together. Come back to the top of your mat. With an inhale, reach the arms up and overhead. Exhale, fold forward over your legs. Inhale, gaze forward, lengthen your spine. Exhale, round the palms, step or jump back. You can come to down dog or child's pose, or move through a vinyasa. Wherever you are, return to your breath. Notice the quality of the breath at this point in your practice. Observe the tension in the body, where it still is, where it has shifted. Notice the speed of the thoughts through the mind in this moment. And then return the awareness to anchor on your breath. We're going to come to lay down on our backs. And we're going to do a couple bridge poses. So the invitation is that you can extend the right leg up towards the ceiling if you want to make your life more difficult, because that's why we do yoga, right? Just kidding. The left foot is in close to the buttocks, outer edge of the left foot parallel with the left side of the mat. You can also do this bridge pose without lifting the right leg, right? Press the back of the head and shoulders into the mat. And with an inhale, lift the pelvis, the low back, the middle back. If it feels good to interlace the hands behind the back to roll the shoulders under, to do that. Or just turn the palms to face up. Everything on the ground, pressing firmly down to lift the heart, to lift the hips, to lift the heel. From the heart, extend through the knee. From the heart, extend through the crown. One more big breath, and if your leg is lifted, keep it lifted as you exhale and lower the hips to the floor. Lower that right leg to the mat. Resist the urge to draw the knees into the chest, but you could sway them from side to side, if that feels good. If you lifted the right leg, you're gonna lift the left leg. Right foot in close to the buttocks, outer edge of the right foot parallel with outer edge of the mat. If both feet are grounded, the alignment is the same on both sides. Press the back of the head and shoulders down. Inhale, lift the pelvis, the low back, the middle back. Interlace the hands to roll the shoulders under, or just turn the palms to face up. Everything on the ground presses down to lift the heart. From the heart, extend through the knees. That left thigh bone presses away from you. From the heart, extend through the crown. One more big inhale. And keep the leg lifted as you exhale and lower it. Whew. Good, both knees are bent. Sway the knees from side to side. And then draw the knees into the chest. Rock forward and back to come up to balance on the pelvis. Shins parallel to the earth. Ground the fingertips behind you. Roll the shoulders back. Slide the jawbone back. Lift the hands parallel to the floor. Lift the legs. 5 breaths. Good, exhale, release. I'm gonna see what time it is. 11:06, go ahead. We will take a forward fold. Let's take the feet wide for this one. Flex the toes straight up. Press the thigh bones down. If your pelvis is still tipped backwards, you've got to lift from the base of the spine up. If your toes roll out, that's letting you know that your pelvis is tilted backwards. You want to lift from the base of the spine up and ground the inner thigh bones down. If your pelvis is neutral and you feel that you can lift and lengthen through the spine, exhale and walk the hands forward. Keep the toes pointed up as you fold in. Keep the sits bones grounded and the frontal hip bones lifting. Bring the head towards the hands if that's accessible, or just find a way to support yourself, maybe on the forearms, where you're finding the edge of the shape. It's not unbearably painful, but you feel a stretch. Have 10 deep long breaths. And with an inhale, rise. Soles of the feet together. Press the pinky toes together and open up through the top of the foot. Be aware if one hip is tighter than the other and send the breath there, creating a balance and evenness. As the pinky toes press together, the knees press away from each other. Scoot in any amount towards your heels. And again, you've got to get the pelvis into a neutral position so you can fold. If the pelvis is tipped backwards, the work is really just to lift up or sit on something that helps you find that lift. And then with an exhale, you can fold forward, stretching the heart out past the feet. So we're not just like crumpling into a ball here. We're allowing the sits bones to ground us down. We're inhaling and lengthening the heart and crown away from the pelvic bowl as we fold. Again, find a comfortable way to support yourself where you are feeling a stretch, but you're not feeling like you're ripping your leg out of the socket. Close your eyes to climb inside the shape. 10 deep, long breaths. Allow the breath to work its magic. Inhale, expand out past the edge of the shape. Exhale, sink more deeply, again moving past the edge of the shape. So in each breath, there is a tiny transformation of the body and mind, a softening. And when we add these moments together, we see real shifts and growth and change through time. With an inhale, slowly rise. Bring the legs together, ground the feet. Roll the spine out, curling backwards. Coming to lay on your back. You can draw the knees into the chest and rock gently from side to side one more time. Feel free to take any final pose that your body may be suggesting that it would like. And when you are ready, relax, release, and open into Shavasana. Final relaxation. Allow the heaviness of the bones, the earth element of the body, to ground you down. As you inhale, allow it to be so deep and so long that it touches down into the bottoms of the feet and the tips of the toes. As you exhale completely, residual tension leaves the body with the breath through the fingertips. So through this practice, we clear out old stagnant energy, and we allow ourselves to be completely revitalized and rejuvenated each and every day. Take this moment to savor any strength, stability, or steadiness that you felt in the body or mind through the practice. And begin to intentionally deepen the inhales. The aspect of the breath that enlivens and invigorates us. Begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Gently sway your head from side to side. With an inhale, reach the arms up and overhead. Give yourself a big stretch from fingertips to tippy toes. Exhale here. Inhale, draw the knees into the chest. And exhale, roll to the right side body. Pause in this fetal position. Use your right arm as a pillow. Allow yourself to gather your bearings and move slowly as you press down with the palms to lift up. Keep your eyes closed as you return to that comfortable seated position. And check back in with the quality of the breath, the tension in the body, and the speed of the thoughts through the mind after your practice. We will seal our collective efforts with a single Om, allowing the tailbone to root down through the floor, connecting you to the earth. From that grounding, inhale, lift and lengthen through the crown of the head and the tips of the ears. Soften the shoulders together down and into the back. Lean gently back to stack the vertebrae. Align this internal antenna within us that connects us to all things. And inhale deeply. Bring the hands to the heart and bow your head in gratitude for the tools of this practice that help us to find the freedom, the space that is created within the routines and the discipline and the structure. Thank y'all for being here. Have a great rest of your day.
You too.
Yeah. Everybody doing good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tyler.
Thank you guys so much. It's so nice to see your faces.
Yeah.
Mwah. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.